It was the moment no Manchester United fan expected. Jadon Sancho, on loan at Chelsea, struck a stunning goal in the Conference League final. But as the stadium erupted, few realized the deeper story unfolding behind the scenes. A single goal and the outcome of a European final had just cost Manchester United a hefty transfer windfall. In the high-stakes world of football finance, sometimes it's not the players on the pitch, but the clauses in their contracts that determine the fate of millions. This isn't just a story of one dramatic match. It's about the new economics of football, where performance bonuses, loan agreements, and transfer clauses can shift the financial fortunes of some of the world's biggest clubs in an instant. Today, we're diving into how a constellation of deals involving Manchester United, Jadon Sancho, and Antony reveal both the tangled risks and the tantalizing opportunities of the modern football marketplace. How did United end up watching, powerless, as two of their own loanees, Sancho and Antony, faced off in a European final that held a six-figure bonus hostage? And what does this tell us about the volatile financial strategies now defining the beautiful game? The answers, as you'll see, aren't just about football. They're a window into the high-wire business environment of global sports. To understand the shockwaves from this final, let's start with a crash course in how money now drives football's transfer and loan market. For decades, Manchester United built its reputation as a powerhouse not just on the pitch, but in the boardroom. From the era of Sir Alex Ferguson's dominance to the mega deals of the Premier League era, United has long been one of football's highest spending and most commercially successful clubs. But in recent years, things have changed. The club's finances, once the envy of Europe, have come under strain. The wage bill has ballooned, transfer debt has mounted, and new challenges, from stricter financial fair play rules to steeper competition for talent, have forced United to rethink its approach. Today, the numbers are stark. As of December 31st, 2024, Manchester United's gross debt stood at an eye-watering $649.4 million. Cash reserves, meanwhile, had dwindled to just $52.2 million. Despite strong commercial revenues from sponsors and merchandise, the club's matchday income has been volatile, hit by inconsistent performances and the unpredictable rewards of European competition. It's no wonder, then, that United has turned to new strategies to balance its books and manage risk. One of those strategies, loaning out high-value players who aren't fitting into the current squad, with the aim of both reducing wage costs and, potentially, boosting those players' market values through regular playing time elsewhere. That's where Jadon Sancho and Antony enter the picture. Both arrived at Old Trafford for eye-watering sums, Sancho for $73 million, Antony for $95 million, with hopes of lighting up the Premier League. Both have endured rocky spells, inconsistent form, manager changes, and, in Antony's case, off-field issues that left him on the fringes of Erik ten Hag's plans. As a result, both found themselves shipped out on loan in the 2024-25 season. Sancho landed at Chelsea, a fellow English heavyweight aiming for its own turnaround under new management. Antony, meanwhile, headed for Spain, joining Real Betis with the hope that a fresh start would reignite his career. For United, these loans were more than just a tactical shuffle. They were financial chess moves. Let's break down the mechanics. Loan deals in modern football are rarely simple. Clubs now routinely negotiate a slew of performance bonuses, sell-on clauses, and conditional payments to maximize upside and minimize risk. In Antony's case, United and Betis agreed to a bonus. If Betis won the Conference League with Antony playing in more than half their games, United would pocket a £300,000 windfall. For a club staring at mounting debt, every clause counts. The logic is clear. If loanees shine, their value can surge, or, at the very least, other teams may be more willing to pay higher transfer fees. And if the borrowing club hits success milestones, the parent club reaps a share of the spoils. It's a system that, on paper, offers a win-win if everything goes to plan. But, as with any financial innovation, there are downsides. These bonus clauses and conditional payments pile risk atop risk. As Manchester United fans discovered, a single match and a single goal can vaporize hoped-for income in seconds. Which brings us back to that night in Wrocław. The Conference League final pitted Real Betis, riding Antony's revitalized form, against Chelsea, supercharged by Sancho's resurgence. The drama was thick. Betis led early, and Antony, by now a fan favorite in Spain, contributed at every stage. But then, a blizzard of goals from Chelsea, including Sancho's emphatic finish, ended the contest, and United's shot at a quick £300,000 payday. Just imagine the emotional whiplash for Manchester United's board, watching their former prodigies light up Europe, yet realizing that their on-field heroics could, paradoxically, cost the club both in missed bonuses and in complicated transfer prospects. Antony's own journey is a case study in the volatility of player value. Speaking to TNT Sports Brazil before the final, he admitted, "I always say that I had good moments, but I had very difficult moments too, not only on the field, but off it. I went through some very difficult times there that ended up affecting me a lot. It was a moment when I thought about stopping playing. I no longer felt that desire to play football because of everything I was going through." Yet his time at Betis has transformed him. 9 goals, 5 assists, and a starring role in a European final have revived his prospects, but also complicated United's options. Spanish football expert Guillem Balog describes Antony as a hero at Betis, but warns, "I just don't see Betis being able to pay what United will ask for him." The market value has dropped. Antony is now worth about $35 million, far less than the mega fee United paid. But the demand is suddenly real, with Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, and Juventus circling. Meanwhile, Sancho's arc is equally unpredictable. His market value has plummeted from £73 million to around $25 million. Chelsea holds an option to buy him for $25 million, but as manager Enzo Maresca puts it, no decision has been made. Sancho's brilliant Conference League goal could push up interest across Europe, perhaps even back in Germany where he shone for Dortmund. For United, the stakes are clear. A permanent sale could free up millions in salary and help meet UEFA's financial fair play rules, which are tightening further as new spending caps loom. But the uncertainties pile up. What if Sancho flourishes at Chelsea, but the London club balks at his price tag? What if Antony's hot streak cools, leaving United with a high-wage asset whose value has already sunk? According to Simon Stone of BBC Sport, Antony's loan has increased the likelihood of other clubs being keen to sign him, but with United reportedly prepared to sell only at $32.5 million, and Betis struggling financially, is anyone ready to meet their price? Layer on top of this the broader pressures on United's budget. The Ineos Group, now co-owners, are pumping $300 million into Old Trafford's crumbling infrastructure. The wage bill, while down $8.3 million from last year, still stands at an eye-watering $80.4 million for just 6 months. Agent fees alone? $33 million in a single season, third highest in the Premier League. UEFA's looming new rules could soon limit how much clubs can splash on wages, transfers, and crucially, agent commissions. No wonder then that every clause, every future sale, and every unexpected bonus is scrutinized like gold dust by United's financial team. As one financial analyst put it to us off record, in this environment, £300,000 here, a few million there, it adds up fast. And it's the difference between balancing your books or having to offload another star. All of this is playing out against the backdrop of a potential managerial shakeup. Erik ten Hag's future is in doubt, with Ineos reportedly considering new candidates. The direction of United's transfer strategy, including whether to cash in on Antony and Sancho or gamble on further loans, could hinge on who sits in the dugout next season. The uncertainty transcends Old Trafford. Across Europe, clubs are facing a new reality. Fewer big-money deals, more creative contracts, and a relentless focus on cost efficiency. As one Spanish football director told us, the transfer market is now like the stock market, full of speculation, risk hedging, and split-second decisions. So here's where we stand. Manchester United, once the poster child for football's big spending era, are now trapped in a web of conditional deals, fluctuating player values, and regulatory headwinds. Sancho and Antony, 2 stars gone astray, have illuminated both the perils and potential of this new landscape. Their fates and the club's financial future hang in the balance. But the most intriguing questions remain unresolved. Will United cut their losses and offload their loanees at a discount, or could one last twist in the market see their values surge again? And, with UEFA planning even harsher spending limits, are we witnessing the dawn of a new transfer market, one where even the biggest clubs must think like hedge funds, hedging every bet and chasing every clause? In the next part, we'll explore how Manchester United, Chelsea, Betis, and the entire football world are racing to adapt, and who stands to win or lose in the next transfer window. Because in this new game, fortune favors not just the bold, but the best prepared. Now, as we move into what comes next, the stakes for Manchester United, and frankly for every major European club, are only getting higher. The days of simply splashing cash on high-profile signings with little regard for long-term consequences are over. Instead, football's giants face a new, far more complex game, and with that game come both new challenges and fresh opportunities. Let's imagine a few different futures, each branching out from the same question. How do United and clubs like them reclaim their power and stability in the rapidly changing football economy? First, consider the current transfer window. United are under intense pressure, financially and competitively. With debts hovering around $650 million and UEFA drafting stricter spending controls, every outgoing and incoming must now be justified not just on the pitch, but on the balance sheet as well. The club's wage bill, agent fees, and transfer debts have all come under the microscope. It's no secret that United spent $33 million on agent fees alone last season, ranking as the third highest in the Premier League. That's money which, under the looming specter of new UEFA regulations, could soon be more tightly capped than ever before. For United, a key question revolves around the fates of Sancho and Antony. Both players arrived with sky-high expectations and equally hefty price tags. Sancho's arrival from Dortmund cost £73 million, but his current market value has crashed to around $25 million. Antony, too, has seen a dramatic drop, from $95 million to just $35 million. Yet here's the twist. Each loan spell has helped shape the future, both for the player and the club. Sancho's resurgence at Chelsea, culminating in a headline-grabbing goal in the Conference League final, has reminded everyone of his potential. He's proven he can deliver on a big stage, and his embrace with Antony at the final whistle was a poignant reminder of the human side behind the business of football. Still, the future is uncertain. Chelsea have the option to buy Sancho outright for $25 million, but their new manager, Enzo Maresca, has yet to decide. A return to Dortmund could also be on the cards, or a move to another ambitious Bundesliga club, where Sancho's speed and creativity have always shone. Every goal, every assist, every bit of body language in the next few weeks could tip the balance one way or another, affecting not only United's summer budget, but also how other clubs approach similar high-profile, high-risk transfers. As for Antony, Real Betis would love to keep him. He's rediscovered his flair in Spain, netting 9 goals and serving up 5 assists in just 26 appearances, a far cry from his patchy spell at Old Trafford. Spanish football expert Guillem Balag called Antony a hero at Betis, but also admitted the La Liga club likely can't afford the fee United would demand. There's interest from Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, and even Juventus, but none are expected to approach his original transfer fee. Still, an exit, whether on loan or permanently, looks increasingly likely. Here's where things get really interesting. With United's debts and strict financial fair play rules, every million from these transfers counts. Failing to secure a sale or another productive loan for either player could mean tough choices elsewhere, perhaps selling another asset, or even limiting incoming transfers. And if the Premier League or UEFA clamps down further on agent fees or transfer spending, the pressure intensifies. But there's also a flip side. If United can use successful loan spells to boost player values, even modestly, they can soften the financial blow of past transfer missteps. Imagine a scenario where Sancho's final flourish at Chelsea convinces the Blues or a Bundesliga giant to pay closer to $30 million. Or where Antony's Spanish adventure sparks a bidding war, pushing his sale north of $32 million. Each of those outcomes could be the difference between a marquee summer signing or having to watch rivals strengthen while United stands still. Behind all this, United's new partial owners, the Ineos Group, are quietly orchestrating a revolution. Their promised $300 million investment in Old Trafford's infrastructure is just the start. They're also looking to modernize scouting, analytics, and recruitment. It's a shift towards what some call Moneyball 2.0, where every transfer is interrogated by data, every contract scrutinized for hidden financial pitfalls. Joe Cole predicted a really good era coming for Chelsea post-Conference League win, but many insiders argue that United, if they get this overhaul right, could be just as well placed to rise again. But there are risks. If United fail to sell Sancho or Antony, or if the market for expensive outcasts dries up, they may be forced to sacrifice more promising young talents to raise cash. Or worse, they could be stuck with high-earning, unsettled players rotting on the bench, adding to wage bills, draining morale, and stalling their rebuild. The specter of missing out on Champions League qualification looms large, too. Without that top-tier European cash, United could find themselves slipping further behind rivals like City, Arsenal, or even the new Chelsea. For fans, This is a moment of reckoning. Football's old certainties have crumbled. No longer can a club paper over the cracks with one or two superstar signings. Now every decision, on and off the pitch, matters. The genius is in balancing short-term need with long-term vision. For every Sancho or Antony, there are opportunities to learn, adapt, and rebuild smarter. So what's the practical lesson in all this? Not just for clubs, but for anyone passionate about football or business. First, understand that value isn't static. It's easy to sneer at United's losses on Sancho and Antony, but every club faces the risk that a marquee signing could flop or lose value. The real winners are those who react quickly, using loans, smart negotiations, and relentless data to recoup value, develop players, or at least minimize damage. Second, we're seeing the end of pure gut feel recruitment. The clubs best equipped to thrive are those who blend data and human experience, scouting not only talent but character, adaptability, and financial fit. United's mistakes of the past, overpaying for names, are now lessons for the future. And for the rest of us, whether we're running a small business or managing a personal career, it's a reminder: adapt or get left behind. Market conditions change. Opportunities come and go in a flash. Flexibility, knowing when to cut your losses, when to double down, and when to take a bold new approach, is everything. As football fans, it's worth watching not just the goals and saves, but the boardroom chess matches that shape the future of our clubs. The deals behind the scenes, the clever clauses, the willingness to loan out struggling stars, all of these are now core to how success is built in the modern game. That brings us to the heart of the matter. How will Manchester United and clubs in similar straits find stability and regain an edge in this turbulent economy? The answer is a mix of humility and innovation. For United specifically, the path forward means making tough calls on Sancho, Antony, and anyone else not pulling their financial weight. It's about transitioning from a spending machine to a strategic operator, maximizing return on every asset, leveraging data, and holding their nerve in tough negotiations. Expect fewer blockbuster, record-breaking signings and more focus on youth, development loans, and shrewd acquisitions. United no longer has the financial luxury of burying mistakes. Instead, each transfer will be scrutinized, each player's development pathway treated as critical to the club's financial and competitive fate. UEFA's tightening rules will only accelerate this trend, with new spending caps on the horizon, potentially limiting not just transfer fees but also wages and agent commissions. Clubs that fail to adapt will be left adrift. Those who modernize, innovate, and accept the new reality could actually thrive. The secret fact? Some insiders suggest that behind closed doors, United are not just planning to sell Sancho and Antony, but also to overhaul their entire wage structure, instituting stricter performance-related pay and exploring creative deal clauses tied to player achievements, both on the pitch and off. It's a quiet revolution, but one that could put the club back ahead of the curve if executed well. For you, the viewer, the lesson is clear. Whether you're following the business of football or managing your own ambitions, success now demands more than just raw talent or a famous name. The real edge comes from facing up to mistakes, learning fast, and daring to do things differently next time. If you found this insight valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Tell us in the comments, what do you think United's next big move should be? Would you keep Sancho and Antony, or cut your losses and start fresh? For more deep dives into football's new